that is the same what we are very much practicing in the West Nordic countries, because we cannot afford to have too many faults, and it's absolutely a question of life and death if the energy supply is not absolutely sustainable, because it's absolutely freezing on there sometimes. So that's why we are very much into networking. For that is if a community want, for example, to have renewable energy resources installed or tested out. That is if a company wants to test out, or a single consumer. So networking goes across different countries, and one of these networks is this one called Nordic, which is this sustainable energy solutions for these Arctic climates. And they have a project called the Cool 100 Projects, which we also have a leaflet on. And that is to collect the best 100 projects which is concerned with renewable energy in the Arctic regions, in communities. And this is going to be presented at the climate meeting in Copenhagen in December this year. So that is definitely a website to look into if you're interested in renewable energy in the Arctic regions.
Is that in English?
We've only brought websites that's in English. Now let's have a look into the first of the projects. Meteor is a very small island west of western Norway. It's a vital island for the navigation. There are lots of devices at the island for navigation and for shipping. But it's also a small island with some small farms and a lot of summer guests and tourists. So at that island, the first showcase for windmills, wind producing electricity, producing hydrogen, and using the hydrogen for lighting and heating in a group of houses. This is the world's first showcase for that. So at the island, 2 windmills were built. There is a submarine cable between the island and the mainland, Norway. So excess wind power from one of the windmills go solely to the mainland, but the other windmill is used for producing hydrogen, well, first of all, electricity for the houses, and then the excess power is used for producing hydrogen that is stored in a tank and later on used as fuel on a fuel cell for electricity for the same houses. That's when the wind is not blowing, so that they can have a stable and continuous supply with electricity and heating from electricity.
How long has that system been operating?
It was introduced in 2003 and was only meant for 3 years, or 2 years, I think, and it's still functioning. And the people getting their electricity from the windmills are very satisfied. And the rest of the people at the island are very annoyed that they cannot be put on the same grid. Well, here are the sites of with a container where the fuel cell is, and you can see one of the windmills in the background. You can also see a lot of tanks and containers for hydrogen storage. The hydrogen is stored under 200 bars pressure. Now, this project, well, it's still working, but they are trying to evaluate on the project. And one of the challenges or major problems is that it's very hard to integrate the system, that it becomes fluent and continuous. There has been a lot of problems with the fuel cell. Sometimes there's not enough hydrogen. And the company that put it up are trying to make it a lot more energy efficient. There's a similar project now in the Shetland Islands. It's called the Pure project, and that's a much smaller project. And then I have seen that Quebec has put up another project just like this one.
The next project I'd like to tell about is called the Lighthouse project. And it's called the Lighthouse project because it's meant to be one of many projects to actually stand there and shine and give signals out about the best practices this particular project will reach. This project, the Lighthouse, is about to transfer a typical house into a showcase for small-scale technologies which are sustainable and energy efficient. That is, this house has become completely impossible to inhabit because there's far too much draft and it's not air sealed. So it's about putting new insulation and completely restore it to even better than it was and when it was first built. And it's very much is different from this project or many other projects is that it's extremely focused on bringing in the community. So the official is called the Lighthouse project, but it's also got a more official title called the Democratic Sustainability Project, because it's about involving the community in a sustainable, democratic process, especially in these regions where if something fails technically, you will have to fly in a technician because there might not be one who is educated in the community. And for this place, the Fangwak, which is a small village in the middle of ice and snow and fjords and big mountains, that would mean somebody to fly for 2 different air connections within Greenland and then take, depending on the season, either a dog sledge, a snow scooter, or a boat to get into this particular village. So therefore, it's so essential to actually get the skills into the community so they get hands-on projects here and they can look at this house, how this was changed into a livable house again with small-scale technologies, and then they can actually adopt these techniques to other houses in the village. And first of all, it's energy efficiency, and afterwards it's about putting renewable energy technologies. It's, as I said, highly important to involve the community in this project, and got these different boxes to enhance the message there. There are increasing prices on fossil fuels. That's a bit of a, what you say, two-standing argument, because the reason why it hasn't been really affordable, and it's still a balance in the Arctic, whether it's affordable to do renewable energy, is that the